I was trained as a character actor. That's what I want to do. I believe in changing the way you look, the way you move, the way you speak. I'm not great at playing myself. What really gives me the greatest satisfaction is changing into something else. And I define it as it's just part of my DNA. It's just always been there. And I would read plays, books, stories, everything. Like I would just absorb them from the age of about, 7 or 8. And that's probably what I call it's in your blood. I started going to drama school when I was 14, so I knew how to prepare text and things, and I'd done all sorts of mime classes and improvisational classes, so I'd done a lot. I'd sought out classes in the inner city of Sydney and places in warehouses. I just wanted a place to go. My school didn't really offer the arts, so I had to go and find it. So by the time I came to audition, I was so sort of free with that stuff. And I wanted to get it, but if I wasn't going to get it, I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. It doesn't matter if I get the role or not get it. I'm going to keep doing it. That boldness and the courage that you have and the bravery you have when you're first starting is the thing that if you can keep it, gives you the most extraordinary opportunities in career. It's so easy to lose it because you get safe and scared and, and lazy. But if I can stay in that place of bravery and hunger, then who knows where I'm going to go? And that's exciting to me. I don't want to know.
When I was in my late 40s, I'd had it. I didn't want to do it anymore. I had lost my sense of myself, and I find it very difficult to act when I don't like myself and have lost confidence. So I quit for 15 years. And when I had regained a sense of self and a sense of confidence, I came back. And I was really lucky because it's very hard when you're in your late 60s to come back after 15 years.
Sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm staggering around the bedroom, I think, oh God, why do I have to go to work today? But then when I get here, then I'm excited to do the work and to do a scene. And I think I'm service oriented. That grounds me somewhat. And I love what I do.
I live in a context of service and friends who constantly inspire me and make me be braver and go further. That motivates me.
I was always developing these characters, and I would develop a definitive monologue to express that character. I was just tireless. That's all I did.
All the characters that she has brought to life live inside of her, and she has such empathy for them.
Do it whenever you can. Just get up and do it. No matter how much you're gonna be embarrassed or humiliated, you just have to do it. So much is circumstance too, or being in the right place at the right time.
Right. You never know what's going to happen, so never give up and always try to get better. Never settle. Never phone it in on any level, not just as an actor, but in life.
And there is something to be said for just taking a craft and taking it as far as you can in the discipline of a work ethic. It's really easy for people to say they love things, but what are they willing to do for them? I love acting. What am I willing to do for it? It's action, man. What are you willing to do for it? What do you believe in? What are you willing to fight for? And, one of the things that I'm willing to fight for in my life is mine and everyone else's artistic life. I go to war for art. For our freedom of creativity. I believe in my heart that, like medicine and like building good schools and like building good roads, that there's a foundation of any healthy culture that has a freedom of expression, that through sharing, we all see our life through these tiny little keyholes. And the one thing that's beautiful about movies and books and music is the keyholes open up.
Because it's the why that's interesting, rather than asking the audience to be sympathetic. You have to find that internal sense of logic that the character has, and that's the challenge. What we all do, it's an empathetic profession. You walk in somebody else's shoes and you have to sometimes hold their hand and say, this isn't too great what you're doing, but I'm with you through it. I think that's why you play other people. The flaws, the fears, the sense of incompleteness in yourself, you try and commune or understand that through other people. Not that at all I think that acting is therapy. It's being in dialogue with the other actors. That's why I love being on stage because the audience can sense when it's not alive. I don't know how to do this thing that we do without other people. And I've been fortunate in my career thus far to work with some extraordinary performers who force you to raise your game, and extraordinary directors who ask, when you're asked to do something difficult by someone you respect, you fucking well better do it. It's when you're asked to do that that you grow. I don't think a person worth their weight in salt has never experienced doubt. I mean, you can affirm away, but doubt is a more interesting place to work from, I think. I think the minute you have answered a question in a scene, the scene's over. You don't have to solve the question, you just need to ask the question. And that keeps it active between you and the person that you're playing with, I think. I mean, that's where working in the theatre really helps, is that you have an acute sense of audience, an acute awareness of where your fellow players are. It's not mea culpa, but sometimes you just know. And I think it's having a kind of a honed sense of space. And also sometimes, when you're in sync with the other actors and a director, it's so strange. I don't know whether you guys have found this, but sometimes you go, oh, that wasn't right. You look over to the focus puller and you go, out of focus. And it's somehow you've all been out of sync. It's not about necessarily judging your performance. I'm never happy. I mean, it's excruciating. That's why I sit rocking in the bathroom while you guys are watching the screen going, oh! I mean, but at least on stage you can go up and you know that the guy in row J walked out last night, so you're not going to let that happen, then, so you try and rectify it, but, you don't get to, do that in film.
It's going to affect me, whether I like it or not. I'm going to be pained by the people that don't like it, and I'm going to be bolstered by people who do like it. What it won't do is change the way that I work, which is probably the most important thing. I'm not thick-skinned, but I'm not thin-skinned either. But I've gotten used to the fact that you just can't please all the people all the time. I've got no great desire to be loved in a major way by faceless, anonymous crowds. It's not part of something that I want. Never play to the gallery, I think. But you never learn that until much later on, I think. But never work for other people. Always remember that the reason that you initially started working was that there was something inside yourself that you felt that if you could manifest it in some way, you would understand more about yourself and how you coexist with the rest of society. And I think it's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. I think they generally produce their worst work when they do that. And the other thing I would say is that if you feel safe in the area that you're working in, you're not working in the right area. Always go a little further into the water than you feel you're capable of being in. Go a little bit out of your depth. And when you don't feel that your feet are quite touching the bottom, you're just about in the right place to do something exciting.
And so every movie has been this incredible education for me, really. And I've learned a lot more about, what it is to be an actor. And almost these kind of mantras. I mean, it's not this conscious thing that he does with me. He's not sitting me down and saying, look, kid, this is how you do it. For both of us, it's a discovery process, and it's a constant conversation. He said, look, as long as you portray people as authentically as you possibly can, and you don't try to sugarcoat their intentions, and you give an accurate portrayal of their very nature, audiences will go along with you on that. And that kind of clicked with me for the entire filmmaking process, and I kind of realized, that's in a lot of ways the way every film should be done.
You get in the business. I was a journeyman actor for years, off-Broadway, regional theater. And then after I did my 10 weeks in the theater, I was in the unemployment line and was happy. I got my 10 weeks of work, collect my unemployment. I'm an actor. And then my career took off. I always say that the only level you understand when you're a celebrity or actor is the level that you're at. The level that I'm at now is people feel like you're made of Teflon. They do. They talk about you as if nothing will hurt you, as if you're one-dimensional, when in fact that you are a person with a beating heart that has come from somewhere, that we're not just Hollywood, that we are a group of actors and artists who transform. Listen, Arthur Miller, the great playwright, said he became a writer because he wanted people to feel less alone. Acting is about exposing. It's about taking the mask off. Our refusal to expose, to vomit that mess, that's what we do for you. That's our only service. You know, you could put a price tag on that service. You could say it's important or not important. I chose the profession. I choose to see it as important. But if you're not doing that as an actor, if every time you get up there, it's more important for you to keep that mask on and to stay cute, you're not acting. Now you're doing something. That's cool. You're collecting a paycheck. But that's not what we do. That's not what Ruth Negga does. That's not what Dev Patel does. That's not what Meryl Streep does. We are the gatekeepers of connection.